Reactive training systems.
Back in 2012, I found myself down in Florida with a little bit of time to kill. So I kind of got it in my mind that I was going to go visit Dr. Fred Hatfield. He's a powerlifter and a coach that I've looked up to for, pretty much my entire lifting career. And I thought, well, here I am in the same state. I ought to make an effort to see if I can go have lunch with the guy. So I dropped him a line, and he was willing to meet with me. And so we went and had lunch, and just had a really interesting conversation with him that afternoon. But one thing that stands out to me now, and that I still remember talking about in our winding training discussions that we had that day, was a discussion that we had about time under tension and that, the role that it plays in training. And I remember distinctly being in an ice cream shop, having some ice cream, because if you know me, I can't go that long without having some ice cream. And I remember Dr. Hatfield looked at me and said, Mike, it's not about time under tension, it's about time under maximum tension. And of course he used that to kind of explain to me the importance of compensatory acceleration training, which we've discussed a bit in the past, and we could certainly talk more about in the future. But this whole idea of time under maximal tension, and that's kind of a measure of high quality training volume. Now how would you begin to measure that? Well, I think before we get into how would you go about measuring time under maximum tension, we should talk about what that is conceptually first. A lot of the research that I've seen that compares time under tension models and stuff like that basically has one group who pushes the barbell hard and another group who pushes the barbell slow, and they either get the same results, or the slower group gets worse results, something to that effect. And it this is evidence that's kind of thrown out there as like, see, time under tension doesn't matter. Well, no, maybe it doesn't in that way, but time under maximum tension, if we look at the same sort of study construct through those lenses of time under maximum tension, then the group who's pushing a barbell slowly, a sub-max barbell slowly, they're really not getting much maximum tension at all. And then the group that pushes the barbell hard gets significantly more time under maximum tension. And we know this intuitively as well. We know that if you're going to be trained with weights, lifting heavy weights is part of learning how to lift heavy weights. You have to train hard in order to improve. We know this. Also, we know that if you keep the intensity too low, then you can jam down a lot of volume, but it's kind of junk volume. It doesn't really help you progress in the strength disciplines very much. So we've seen this concept around the sporting world. It's just that I don't think anybody has kind of put a point on it like Dr. Hatfield did that day, about it being time under maximum tension. And if you think about, your muscles don't really register volume in the sense of like registering tonnage. It's not that there's some organelle in a muscle fiber that's registering how much tonnage is lifted, but there's a stress that's placed on the muscles that's a function of tension and duration. So time under maximum tension seems to get at that pretty directly. So as a concept, I think time under maximum tension is certainly interesting and worth taking a look at. And it also is helpful in explaining how some things like pause squats or pause benches or anything like that can be helpful, because although it's not necessarily time under maximum tension in terms of an absolute maximum, it's time under pretty darn high tension, which also counts for something. So if nothing else, it's a very useful concept, and it's something that I personally would be interested in exploring a bit further.
Reactive training systems.